On October 21st, IBJ unveils the 2025 Women of Influence. Join us to celebrate Indy's most inspiring leaders and hear the powerful stories behind their success. Don't miss this moment. Register now at ibj.com/influence2025.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio on demand for Friday, October 10th, 2025. I'm Gary Dick. For decades, the Elwood Fitness Center has been a staple on the Franklin College campus. In the 1900s, it was a central hub for campus athletics and student life, including the Franklin Wonder 5 basketball team, and as part of a National Register Historic District designation on campus. Now a $9.5 million project will restore the building into a modern athletic complex while maintaining the historic nature of the structure. Franklin College President Kerry Prather,
I think, is going to be one of the most important things we have done here. So that's why I say the project has a dual charm to it, because it meets a resource need, but it also does justice to some history that is completely unique that we certainly don't want to lose.
Lafayette-based Fiber Global, Inc., a manufacturer of engineered wood products, is planning to spend nearly $30 million to open a manufacturing facility in Whitestown, where it says it will employ more than 100 workers by 2029. Fiber Global was founded in 2023 and opened its first large manufacturing plant in August in Brownsburg. PTS Diagnostics, a manufacturer of point-of-care diabetes-related blood testing devices, is closing its Sunnyvale, California manufacturing facility. That move will mean an increase in production at the company's Whitestown manufacturing operation, which it opened in 2019. The Gary Chicago International Airport Authority has formally named Tom Collins Jr. as its new chairman. Collins, who is president and CEO of Hobart-based Luke family of brands, has served on the airport's board of directors since 2022 and was elected its secretary earlier this summer. From the state's #1 source for Indiana business news, you're listening to Inside Indiana Business Radio. Our Innovate Indiana series is on the move in October. Join us for Innovate Southern Indiana in New Albany, October 1st. Innovate South Bend Elkhart in South Bend, October 14th. And Innovate South Central Indiana in Bloomington, October 24th. The Innovate series is presented by Indiana University and Old National Bank. Each location will feature a powerful afternoon of ideas, innovation, and insight, and what's next for each region. RSVP now at ibj.com/innovate. Another poll concluded that a majority of Hoosiers oppose a GOP effort to redraw congressional maps ahead of the 2026 midterms.
The move would potentially eliminate 2 seats held by Democrats. North Star Opinion Research, on behalf of Independent Indiana, found that 53% of Indiana registered voters don't support the move, compared to 34% in favor. Republican respondents, however, support it by a margin of 59% to 25%, while independents and Democrats are opposed by margins of 59% to 28% and 85% to 11%. Respectively. Another poll conducted in August similarly found that just over half of Hoosiers opposed mid-cycle redistricting. Of Indiana's 9 congressional seats, Democrats hold 1 in Indianapolis and another in Northwest Indiana. The maps were drawn in 2021 following extensive public hearings. North Star regularly polls for GOP candidates and national Republican committees. The poll's findings come as Vice President J.D. Vance returns to the Hoosier state today in an attempt to sway Senate Republicans in a closed-door caucus. Alex Brown, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
The Indiana Arts Commission has awarded nearly $2.5 million in grants to 345 nonprofit and public entities to support arts projects and organizations throughout the state. The commission says 80 of Indiana's 92 counties will receive direct investment as a result of the grant programs. This is Gary Dick for Inside Indiana Business Radio on demand.
Curious about what's shaping law in Indiana? From court reforms and NIL rights to mental health courts and energy commissions, the Indiana Lawyer Podcast breaks down the biggest legal issues of our time. I'm your host, reporter Maura Johnson. Join me every other week for your insider guide to what matters in law and why it impacts you. Subscribe now in your favorite podcast app or at ibjpodcasts.com.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media Podcast Network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact advertise@ibj.com to learn more.